Thank you for returning to the Taiwan Outlook. I'm your host, Wu Ruiguo. We will continue our conversation with Professor Chen Lin-Lin, who is the Dean of the College of Design here at the National Taiwan University of Science and Technology. Professor, would you mind finishing that story, that student who graduated 10 years ago and wanted to start off his own, design house with his own brand of products? What happened?
As a professor, I strongly advise him not to start his own company, not to start his own brand.
Okay.
But I'm really happy that my student didn't listen to his professor.
Really?
He did take my advice, so
Okay.
he went into several very big Taiwanese
Design houses.
No, not design houses. Computer companies, technology companies,
right.
and work in their design division for quite a few years.
For their products.
For their products.
Okay.
But on the other hand, he has always kept up his dream.
Yes.
He, after 9 to 5, during the work days, he worked in a company designing products such as computer, consumer electronics, things like that, mobile phone, everything that we know.
All right.
But at night, he still work on his own project, his own concepts, smaller products.
Okay.
Products that does not cost a lot to make. And they have gathered together to run Taiwan Designers Week. I don't know if you know about this.
I heard of it.
Yes.
Yes.
They gather young people, young designers in Taiwan.
Okay.
They are dreaming of
bigger things. Yes.
Bigger things.
Yeah.
They every year they gather together and run this Taiwan Designers Week to showcase their new designer ideas. What I like about this is that sooner or later we need to have we need to have a creative industry, a platform
of course
for these young designers to showcase their new ideas. So that we can encourage more people to come into this, more talents coming in.
Yes.
It used to be that if you don't have a big company, you couldn't sell your products.
No.
But with the internet, this is no longer true.
Yes.
It is possible for young and
upcoming
upcoming designers to have a possibility of creating their own brand. And in UK, and in Scandinavian countries, in Netherlands, maybe 10 or 20 years ago, this is how their design industry started.
Okay, got developed.
They got developed. Even in Milan, this is also the case too.
Okay.
There are many young and inspiring creative designers designing things.
Yes.
And so I'm really happy that they didn't give up their dreams.
Yes, but based on this experience of this, former student, that as I mentioned earlier in our segment, that how can you teach, people to be motivated, to be committed to creating original ideas? You can teach them skills in school curriculum. But how do you, like the former student that you just mentioned, he had a daytime job, but continued with his dream and vision, with a nighttime commitment, but maybe on weekends as well.
Yes.
But how do you then, encourage your student to develop that motivation, to develop their ideas, their original concepts in a sea of millions of ideas and concepts, very competitive. Especially, Taiwan has done well recently, and also university, is ranked very, very high. But how do you then achieve that, in terms of letting them know that they have the drive, the motivation, the commitment to be competitive, to stay ahead of other millions of competitors around the world? I
think motivation and drive cannot be taught.
Yes.
But what we can do, actually, Taiwan, I would think that historically, within our genes, we should be very adventurous people. Otherwise, I don't know why people will come to Taiwan. There is, if people are having a good life somewhere else, they will not move to the small island.
No.
In our dream, in our genes, we should have the blood of pirates, adventurous people. So young people, I think, for the people that I've seen in our department and in many avenues, Taiwan's young people, they have the drive and motivations.
Good.
And what we should do is not to let their drive and motivations die.
No.
When they are still early, when they are young.
Yeah. And Professor, like, as I mentioned, your national, Taiwan University of Science and Technology is ranked very high by the IF ranking. And how do you then, in addition to what we talk about as developing motivation and commitment, how do you achieve, that high ranking? And how do you continue to maintain that position? What are the things that, as Dean of College of Design, what are the things that you think you need to do, along with your colleagues in the department, to try to achieve that?
I have several responsibilities.
Of course.
One is the Dean of College of Design.
Yes.
But I'm also the Director of our Arts Program in National Science Council.
Okay,
and
good.
I also help National Council run the Idea Storming Project.
Yes, we'll
that I talk about.
Yes.
In my view, it was never about getting National Taiwan University of Science and Technology to be high in the IF ranking.
Okay.
The objective, my objective, is to try to get Taiwan, the entire country, recognized, and ranking the integrated power of design to be recognized by the world.
All right.
Okay, because Taiwan is a small island. And we are trying to convert ourselves from manufacturing center to innovation and design center.
Yes.
Okay. To achieve that goal, it cannot be just by one school.
No.
I'm very confident about our college, but with the best of our efforts, I don't know if we can produce 20 excellent designers, outstanding, world-class designers in 1 year.
No.
But Taiwan cannot become an innovation and design center. Just rely on 20 good students.
No.
We need something like 100. So this means that we need to create a platform so that everybody will do well.
Okay.
Okay. Since I'm the Dean of National Taiwan University of Science and Technology, so I took that as a role that we should show the way. We should show that there is a way. It is possible. Okay. So everybody else can do that too.
No.
Because everything that we have, everybody else have it too.
Okay.
So what we did basically is your expertise is in planning.
Okay.
We set up the rules.
Yes.
Right.
All right.
The point. Let's go back to my belief.
Okay.
That Taiwan's designers have the capabilities.
Okay.
They have the drive.
Okay.
So the point is, how do we develop a platform and set up the rules so that there is a clear rule of how to excel?
All right.
In National Taiwan University of Science and Technology, we listed a list of top design awards that goes out, that covers internationally the best of the best design awards. And we let the students know, you have two routes. You can write a thesis. This is graduate student. You can write a thesis and graduate.
All right.
Or you can do a design and graduate. But if you want to do a design and graduate, you cannot just run an exhibition.
No.
That is not accepted. Anybody can run an exhibition.
True.
If you want to graduate with design,
you need to submit to an international competition.
You need to win a design competition. International.
Not just submission, you need to win.
You need to win.
That's very high standard.
Yes, you need to win international. Among these. Anything else doesn't count. Okay. So we also set up a system. All right. So that if the award is won by two people, then the point, they get 0.5.
Okay.
0.5 points for every one of them.
All right.
If you want by only single author, then that is fine.
Okay.
So why we did this is several things. One is the students cannot win out by finding the lowest denominator.
No. Okay.
Okay. They cannot find the easiest design competition to win.
No.
Okay. Also, they cannot win by knowing the best designer in their class.
No.
Okay. They have to do it by themselves, on their own. Then they do it.
Okay.
We in the past something like 6 years, we have won 61.
Yes, we see quite a bit amount of news coverage about students at the National Taiwan University of Science and Technology winning awards internationally and also domestically. Yes. That is quite impressive.
Yes.
But I'm going to come back with a question after we take a short break about how do we further cultivate such a budding design industry and people's original ideas in Taiwan. We'll be right back.